Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of What's Good. Greg Mescall here with you, and my guest today, former NBA player, current professional basketball player abroad, Jason Thompson. Jason, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you for having me.
Jason, this is a weird time for athletes. You've been in an interesting spot playing abroad. You were in different countries trying to continue your basketball journey. What's it been like for you from January to now?
Undescribable, honestly. Just to be able to, I was playing in China at the time. I signed to play with Coach Stephon Marbury and some other fellow Americans. And, we had a lot of success. I had some friends come it was right during the New Year. And like I said, we had won and celebrating the New Year and all this type of stuff. And then I think, we had a break. Then I went to go visit my brother out in Israel, who's playing professionally abroad as well. And like you said, then we couldn't come back, because the coronavirus had just hit China right then. So, that was very different. I made my stay that was only going to be 4 or 5 nights, a little bit longer, just trying to see, what was going to happen and, am I going to things like that. Next thing you know, I stayed about another week, was trying to see if I was going to sign abroad again. I ended up going home, got inducted or got my jersey retired at my Lenape High School, and then ended up signing the next day to play for Zaragoza in Spain. Played about 4 or 5 games, meaningful games, where we advanced in the playoffs and stuff like that. And then, then the virus hit big time in Spain as well. So it's just like I felt like everywhere I was going, it would just pretty much follow me. Then eventually, once that, was quarantined for about 14 to 15 days, ended up going home, and then it hits the U.S. Big time. To the point, obviously, where everybody was taking their temperature when you land and things like that. So, it was definitely an overwhelming experience. Just, coming home so early, during that time, and one, just trying to be safe. We all love the game and all love what we do, but, at the end of the day, health is more important.
Yeah, it's been a strange journey, especially describing your own, going from one country to the next to another. Now, like so many athletes, you're a bit in limbo here. What's next for you? Do you have an ideal destination when things get back to normal?
Well, that's the key. For me, I've been blessed to play for 12 years as a pro, and then next year will be 13. So I have options of where I want to go and where to sign. So I think for me, it's not about just signing, quickly or anything like that. It's just taking the precautions, knowing how the situations are going to be, because like I said, there's not many there hasn't been any basketball activity going on, throughout the world. I think China is going to start back up, I think this weekend, honestly. So that might be the first type of basketball that's going. And then, like you said, the NBA is in limbo of, when to start and all those type of things as well, too. So like you said, I think it's just, blessed enough to try and, figure out the health part of it, and then secondly, think about, the playing part.
And even though you haven't had games to play lately, it isn't as if you haven't been busy. You have some things that are near and dear to your heart, whether it's the Jason Thompson Foundation, Live Like JT. A couple of months back, you were sharing posts about getting masks out there, really advocating for people's health and wellness. Let's start there. Why was that something that you felt was important to you to speak out on and try and drive people towards a healthy lifestyle?
I think it's important. I think I just always knew, even when I was a kid, if I ever was going to make it, big professionally at any level, and I could be able to use a platform, then I was going to, give back and be able to shed light on people. And I think, during all these events that are going on, being educated is probably the best thing that you can do for others. And like I said, I'm not saying I'm the most educated person, but, I have done my research and have educated myself on certain things and certain aspects. So I feel like once I know this information, that I want to relive that and give that information to other people. And like you said, some of the feedback has been overwhelming, with good things. So, with Live Like JT, we did for the healthcare workers and how much they, put their lives on the lines to save other lives. So we gave out, lunches for them and masks to others that maybe, couldn't afford them and things like that, or just don't have access to it. And then also too, started off actually today with how important it is to vote. Like you said, you have all the stuff going on with the pandemic and racism and riots and things like that, but it's just very important for people to have the access to be able to vote. I mean, I think some people just think it's very hard to do, but like I said, I send people some things, and when I post things, it's not about just me posting it. It's actually the replies that I get back of people saying, thank you, appreciate it. Like, I never knew this. This is something new. And I think we're all blocked in one mode where we all follow only each other. So you have followers and then you follow them, but you only see their posts. You don't really get to see other people because, like I said, when you're on the Explore page, it's only people who you follow or who follows you. So then when you go on to somewhere and someone sends you something, then you're like, oh, I never saw this. Why don't I see this? Oh, I don't follow this person. So then, and then it's a domino effect. So as much as information I can absorb to other people like a sponge, I think is very important. And then, like I said, to do that while I'm still training and working out and having limits, being in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, it is tough to have access to gyms because some are, closed, and, if you're going to a school or things like that. So, like, there's just certain things that you have to do, but makes you stronger as a person and being able to stay focused during times where everyone's going through something. So, it's tough to get advice or help from someone because they're struggling in some type of way. And we all try to find ways to come together.
You bring up a great point about how you develop and curate your own social media feeds, because this has been a time where people have understood they have to make the extra effort to understand maybe some different experiences from their own. As you alluded to, you can really kind of get in your own area and only see maybe your friend group and their friends and that sort of thing. So it's a great point there to try and really broaden your horizons. When you think of yourself as an athlete, I know that, of course, you want to be successful. You want to win games, championships. How does the feeling of trying to win on the court compare to when you can have that positive impact, whether it's the masks to healthcare workers or it's sharing a message about voting that really resonates with someone?
I mean, it's to the fullest. Like I said, like, I grew up with having grandparents that were real close to a church, so I know that I would help out all the time. People would always ask me when I was younger, and it's like, you try to help out so much while you're doing well in school and trying to get better, as a player and stuff like that. So I just found ways and not excuses of, like you said, to give back. So now being able to do it, like I said, I don't do this stuff for the notoriety, and I don't, send it to other, news stations and stuff like that all the time. If they pick it up, then it's great because it can still spread to other people and stuff like that. But I really do it just for the heart. Annually I do Thanksgiving, a turkey and Thanksgiving drive for the less fortunate, where they can take a turkey home and then have Thanksgiving dinner. And then also too, and during Christmas time, I have the a toy drive where for less fortunate kids, being able to have a certain shopping spree. And the best thing with that is you think kids, get all the toys and be spoiled, but actually these kids will, like, you'll look at something and you'll be like, oh, this is not something you think they would want. And they'd be like, it might be a girl or a boy, and they're like, hey, my sibling or my cousin, I want to get something for them. So they don't only just think about themselves. And, like, that's the thing that you're like, man, like, I'm here obviously because of the game of basketball and what it's brought me to all over the world, man. But when you can touch people and when you can be able to shed light and help people out and inspire people like that, man, and like I said, it means the world.
That's a wonderful way to use your platform. And as you alluded to, building off of a basketball career. And as we look back at what you've done so far in the game of basketball, at Rider, we both went to what they would classify as mid-major colleges. And when someone like you makes it to the NBA, everyone that follows college basketball at that level feels like all of us got a little bit of a chance. Like someone at this level did it and made it. To come from Rider, to be a lottery pick, to go on to play in the NBA, what did that mean to you and to your family, everyone that supported you, to be able to go from a smaller school to the highest level of basketball?
It meant a lot, just because all the hard work you put in. I think that, like, everyone just tries to realize the moment and tries to realize of how you would be on that day when you hear your name called. But honestly, when I heard my name called, I just went back to like a kid and, like, workouts and AAU and having 6 games and not having the attributes of being able to eat healthy. So we're eating McDonald's and eating fast food and then playing 6 games and just the grind. And like I said, during those times too, it was not very common for, like you said, mid-major guys to be even on NBA, draft stocks and things like that. And I grew 9 inches in high school, so I was a scrawny guard, freshman year, 5'11", then 6'3", 6'6", 6'8". So my limbs is sore and going through all these things, not trying to – but like I said, now it was position basketball. Now we're in a time of all levels where it's positionless basketball. So I always tell kids, I'm like, all right, if you're the tallest kid here, it doesn't mean you have to be in the post. You still need to be working on your ball handling. You still need to be in guard-type shape. You're the smallest kid on the court, then you should be able to have a post game. You're supposed to have the attributes that bigs can do as well. And like I said, I took all of those things in those years, grew 3 inches in college, and kept developing my game and things like that. And then, like I said, the rest is history. And being able to represent, South Jersey, Rider, even, during the times in the league, I would always represent, Rider from afar, especially being all the way from California. So, like I said, it just shows that it's not the easiest thing to do. But like you said, when you go through, ups and downs before that process, man, it just all comes into full effect on draft day.
Now, in your career, you'd go on to play for the Golden State Warriors, Toronto Raptors, abroad, China, Turkey, but basketball fans will most closely associate you with the Sacramento Kings, and you are the answer to the question, who is the longest tenured Sacramento King? So you'll always be linked to that team. I know in your time there, you wanted to win more games than you ended up winning, but now a few years removed from that era of your life, what did your time in Sacramento mean to you? What are some of the memories that stand out?
Well, I think with age and time, you really get to reflect on the things. For me, I grew up in that city. I'm born and raised in New Jersey, living in this area, but I was drafted at 21, and a kid going over 3,000 miles away to an organization like that had great history beforehand. And then you just look at it, you're just like, all right, in the 7 years that I was there as the longest tenure, we had 7 different coaches. And even now with the teams that don't have success, that's still unheard of. I feel like it's just such a big change of, teams don't change their coaches, they change maybe the front office, and then you go down and trickle with the players and stuff like that. So like you said, it's tough to win like that. Then you have a time where we were going to move from Sacramento to Virginia Beach to Anaheim. And I was there during those times where we're, here we stay, and those type of things too. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of a good, because like I said, just great memories and, going over highlights and stuff like that too. But it was just some type of, uncertainty and unfortunate situations with changing the ownership. We had the Maloofs that had tons of success. And then, like you said, now they have Vivek, now new arena and stuff like that too. So it's like night and day of even going back and having the same feel. You go as, not much of the staff up the front, is there anymore as well too. So like I said, I always think I always have, my heart is in Sac regardless of the success, because like you said, there was no stability in one organization for you to have success. And as we see over the years, it's very hard to be successful in these top leagues.
And it's interesting, among all that change, you were one of the stable pieces, right? You're there year after year. Coaches are changing. You look on social media, I think there's a lot of positive feedback. Even in all that turnover, people admired that you were there, a positive force, positive energy. It wasn't always easy, but you were there, stuck it out, and tried to make the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, I did what I could in the circumstance. I don't say I give myself any excuse or this, that, and the third, but if you know the game and you know basketball, I mean, there's just certain things. I mean, most of my career, I was averaging over double figures. You know, nowadays, if you're on playoff type teams and you're averaging double figures, I mean, you know, you're implanted into the league forever. You know what I mean? It's just certain times. When I got to the NBA in 2008, it was, you know, for the bigs, it was post moves and mid range. You know, nowadays, I mean, you're shooting, I don't even know how many type of three-pointers. I could shoot the three, and many players could, but like you said, nowadays, that was rare for 7-footers like a Dirk or something like that to step outside. Nowadays, you know, you have Boban who's 7'3", shooting three. You know what I mean? You have all these type of guys that have that type of skill level where it was somewhat of a weird thing and uniqueness to it, and now it's like, all right, you can shoot the three. Everybody can shoot the three. Now you have to be consistent. You know what I mean? So it's just times have changed over the years, and like you said, it makes you appreciate certain things and situations differently.
One final thought on your time in Sacramento, only because you had mentioned earlier taking part in social justice issues, some of the protests that are going on, sharing some stuff. Your former team has been very active on social media. They're sharing a variety of links and messages, things to really stand behind some of these important conversations and causes. I have to imagine that leaves you feeling proud of them and your time there, knowing the support they're putting behind things that are also important to you.
For sure. I actually got chills when I saw some of the stuff that was going on from afar, you know, with the team and stuff like that. And I know that, you know, if I was, you know, still on the team, like I would definitely be a big vocal person, you know, out there, you know, speaking out and especially to a city that I was there for so long. So it was great to see, you know, the players and everyone influential in Sacramento and in that city that were there, being able to do that through these times. And like I said, I mean, I've seen, you know, the people that I still follow, you know, you just see how overwhelmed positive things that they were doing, you know, for the city and trying to make change and things like that. And that was, and like I said, that was great to see. I mean, like I said, that's arguably, and I mean, I know that Sacramento has the best fans. And like I said, I mean, you know, if it was a one player sport or something like that, it'd be one thing. But like, you know, that's one thing that you mentioned it before, where you just wish you could have won, you know, for a city and for a team, which makes the memories a little bit more memorable and better. But like I said, I mean, it's always love out there for the fans in the city.
You've been vocal on your social media. Other athletes have been sharing stuff in the last 2 weeks when this conversation has really turned to the importance of tackling head on some things that have been ignored for far too long. Why is it important to you in general to offer thoughts on this, and why is it important for more athletes to share their voices to these important conversations?
I think it's important because, like I said, we're as much as some people don't want to admit, you know, we have so many people that look up to us, and obviously some people have higher statuses, some might have lower statuses than some, but we all have people that are looking up to us. That's why, you know, when we're out in public and stuff like that, we have to be on our P's and Q's in what we do, especially in the social media era. I mean, you know, like you said, if you're trying to be you know, like us as kids and stuff like that, and people recording you doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, I mean, that changes like this. You know, it's on ESPN, it's on whatever type of local news or something like that. So having a platform like that, you know, you just can't use it to where, all right, let me just act like I'm a good guy. Like, no, like if you have stuff and you want to say it, then you say it. Now, obviously, there's going to be, you know, a backlash of people that don't agree with you, but that's just life. you know? So I think if you're confident of what you believe in, and we all grew up in different type of, you know, situations and things like that. And, you know, it is a time, like you said, it's going into a pandemic, into Black Lives Matter, into all these type of things. So it's like, these are huge type situations that are all going on at the same time. Like if it happened like a year ago or something, it would still be huge, but it'd be one topic. But for all of them all to be combined all in one is tough. But like I said, it's a time where change needs to happen, and people actually need to be educated on this type of stuff to know. Because like I said, if you've been educated one way and it's not the right way, it's understandable that you don't understand. But if people are willing to understand and get educated on this, then that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, and I'm not the first person to suggest this, but the timing of the pandemic and everyone having to pause a lot of things has opened the door for people to focus more of their energy on some of these important issues. And so, yeah, it's two major things at once, but maybe the timing's never been better to try and tackle something as important as some of these social justice issues. Just a couple of more questions for you here, Jason. And you know, there's more basketball ahead for you, but you have a lot of other things we talked about earlier, the foundations, the charitable efforts. If you look 10, 20 years down the road, after you're done playing basketball at a high level, what sort of impact do you still want to be having in your community?
Just to be able to still make a difference in areas where I'm from, and just, like I said, just for people throughout. You know, like I said, having my foundation and program and stuff like that helped out a lot of kids that may have went in another direction, but, you know, with me and having the background that I have and actually helping them out, or them reaching out to me, you know, I made an impact for them. And for me, it's not about posting that I made an impact on a person, but of them texting me or giving me a message and DM or something like that, like, hey, I graduated from, you know, Stanford or whichever college, and you had a huge impact on that. I mean, that means the world. So being able to have that impact on these kids, man, if they would have went a different route, if they didn't reach out, you know, it means a lot. So that's, you know, something that I want to continue to keep building. Same thing with my foundation that has to deal with heart health. We're living in a time where, like I said, when we were young, I felt like we were just eating whatever we wanted to. And now health and diet is like so important, you know what I mean? Which it is. So that can prevent heart disease and obesity, diabetes, and all these things that are probably implanted into kids because of the tough stuff that they're eating, all sugar and things like, and fatty foods and stuff like that. So being able to start them at young ages and in the right path, and then let them be able to choose their path rather than them saying, hey, I wasn't educated or I didn't have this person helping me out, means more.
And be sure to check the links in the comments below, and we'll share information on how to find out more about the initiatives that Jason's talking about. We finish every interview with the same three questions, and it's these. What's something you've done for yourself lately? What's something you've done for someone else lately? And what's something that really made you laugh? Not like an LOL emoji, but like you were legitimately laughing. And I start first with, what's something you've done for yourself lately?
I would say I've taken this time, and like I said, all things we all go through tough things in our life, and I feel like as much as, like you said, it's going to make you sad, it's going to make you feel some type of way, you always try to find the positives of why the situation happened. So, like I said, I mean, this is probably the most that I've never played basketball in a while. I would say indoors. I mean, you know, outdoors. So, like I said, like I've been going to like doing more outdoor activities, like riding bikes and workouts outside at the age of 33, which I didn't think I would do, you know, on an outdoor court, and like that. So I would tell people more of like, take advantage of, you know, like you said, you don't have to need to go into a gym all the time. You be able to work out at a park and hang with your family and loved ones, and don't need to be outside in the public, you know, right now of going out or things like that. Those are the positives where you don't have to do that and actually do things that are productive by, like you said, going to parks, running, biking, outdoor stuff, rather than just staying in the house and being a couch potato.
What's something you've done for someone else recently?
Man, What I do for someone else? I mean, like I said, I just feel like I've just always am helping and giving the community. So like I said, I feel like during these times where it is tough with the pandemic, I would just say I've been around my family more than ever because, like I said, there's a little bit more trusted of being out in public and stuff like that. So I feel like just being more of a family guy and, being around loved ones and appreciating being with the time with them each and every day.
And last but not least, what's something that really made you laugh recently?
Oh, man. That's a good one. What made me laugh? Oh, my goodness. Usually you don't really catch me off guard. What's that?
Maybe a show or some conversation. It's funny. So many athletes I've talked to during this time, they've been around their family and their grandparents, and for whatever reason, grandmothers are making people laugh with things they're saying or being on live chats. Maybe something with your family.
I would say nothing in particular, or one that I could probably say
sure.
on that. I don't know. Like I said, I just feel like I just watched like Chappelle came out with that thing having to do with that, and I feel like how he blends in what's actually going on and making a difference, but then also finds ways to make you laugh. I feel it's like incredible. And we all know how great of a talent he is and stuff like that, but kind of to a serious topic, but then trying to find parts of it funny, I think is good. So like I said, I feel like there hasn't been too many things that are that funny during these times, but sure. I felt like it was entertaining.
Yeah, he has an amazing way to take something, like you said, very serious and find some funny moments in it while also explaining the very serious and important topic.
For sure.
Jason Thompson, awesome to talk with you. Always enjoyed watching you play, and great to catch up with you and learn a little bit more about your journey.
Appreciate that, and I know you went to Mama, so I'm going to say go Rider in the man.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.